Good day, everyone. Bishop Jim from the Underground Orthodox Church, and I'm here with my soul brother who's doing everything to make America great again, the host of the Sovereign Soul Show, home of love, liberty, and levity. And of course, I get them in the wrong order because
Oh,
it's just the way I am, dyslexic. But welcome, Brad. It's great to have you here.
well, Jim, it's great to be here, Bishop Jim. And dyslexic says the MBA 20-year WestPoint grad, retired airborne company infantry battalion commander, mech infantry battalion commander, company commander. It all just says him, right? And how cool is it, everyone, that you got a bishop who does exorcisms, who kicks butt, takes names, and sends it all God's way. And man, like the fact that you've also got a ton, I think you're at 55 or 56, Jim, you told me, of spontaneous healing miracles that you've been witness privy to, which have come through you and by your divine presence, and you're wearing an airborne hat. I mean, all power to you. Thank you so much for all of your service and all of the O'Connors and both sides of your family and their service too in this beautiful Thanksgiving. Hope everybody's having a great Thanksgiving.
And Brad, you're no slouch to the service, jumping out of airplanes and helicopters, put out forest fires. That takes a certain amount of huevos that a lot of people don't have. And
Best job I ever had. Yeah, best job I ever had. Best, and it was the best time of my life. It was
yeah,
amazing.
that's
Amazing.
jumping into hell with a handbasket and kicking ass and taking names. So nobody can
Yeah.
say that you didn't do everything possible to make this world a better place.
Well, thank
And
you.
the Sovereign Soul Show is really crushing it. I mean, you have the most interesting shows. So people who haven't seen your shows, you have no idea what you're missing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Well, and you're on there too. You can go right back to the beginning yourself as well, Jim, and it's an honor.
You're the one that got me started podcasting, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with you, like I did with other people, and you got going after it. And I think, that's an amazing thing because people are sitting here going, all right, what's next? What do I do? I wish I could say something. We live in the Jetson age, and you took the initiative, and God wins, and grace of God is running with it. And you're doing great.
Oh, thanks, Brad. Really appreciate you, brother.
You
And
too.
can you explain why you came up with love, levity, and liberty for your motto? I love those mottos, believe me.
Yeah, thanks. It's funny because a couple days ago I was just reflecting on it because I have a meeting coming up today at the time that this recording's posted with somebody all about this and the media. And I'd written it down in a journal in April, going, I gotta get out there, gotta do a show, gotta say something after what they did with the Freedom Convoy and RCMP murdered one of the men, ran over a clan mother. People don't remember. In the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa, there were veterans praying at the war cenotaph on their knees, and the RCMP with fully loaded automatic weapons butt stroked them to the back of the head. You would think they were a POW prisoner or something in Nuremberg Code. No, they were praying at the war cenotaph when the RCMP moved in, just like J6 happened in the States. They didn't care because they're all Nazis. And so I was looking at that going, well, I've never been into politics. I totally believe that all this is since I was a kid, that political parties should be abolished, that they shouldn't even exist. And now we all see the reasons why, but I just intuitively knew it. And I just felt that, well, number one, we're all built altruistically with love in our hearts. As kids coming out of the womb, we are these beautiful divine creatures of our creator and these aspects of source. And number two, I always loved, my mom used to get Reader's Digest. And the very first thing that I would do with Reader's Digest is go to Laughter's the Best Medicine. And then, with my background in Reiki, and then also doing some work with you, that also means high vibrational source. And then liberty is freedom, right? I've always just
Yeah.
been not a guy out there looking for fights. I don't like to engage in, drama and debates, all this from kindergarten through school and everything, but don't mess with me. I don't want to mess with you. And I just think that they're a perfect pairing together. Then it so happens to be a through line and a premise of Charles Carroll of Carrollton, the Declaration of Independence and the founding, of the incredible union, which we're all here to ensure, you know, is reestablished in true sovereignty for the world. And this is still, I believe, America. You're part of, I'm part of being a Canadian. That is the New Jerusalem, 100% in God's light.
Yeah, I believe that. And, you know, we're both Americans.
Yep.
And I remember as a kid watching the Dudley Do-Right cartoons, and the RCMP was really on a pedestal
Yeah.
of, you know,
Yeah.
fictional Inspector Fenwick would roll over in his grave if he saw what the redcoats of the RCMP were doing today.
Always
They
get their
were,
man.
yeah, well, now they're working for the bad guys,
Oh yeah.
and they're not getting their men, and it's an absolute disgrace.
Yep.
But
Totally.
then when you look at the FBI staging and suckering in people in the January 6th thing, like our friend Cindy. I don't want to say too much of her name because I don't want her getting arrested again. Whatever happened to free speech?
Right.
But she's got a great book out on Unbowed,
Yeah.
and I started reading that last night, and it's a great book.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And hopefully people are ordering that book on Amazon for Cindy.
Yeah.
Cindy Jonathan Gross. And because she was number 5 last I checked in civil liberties in the entire category of all time.
Oh, that's
Number,
great. She deserves to be number one. She's
absolutely.
a very classy lady
Yep.
and a faith healer. It's a different faith than yours and mine, but I still respect anybody who does charitable work with a pure heart, and that's Cindy Lou for sure.
Yep. Yep. 100%. Yeah. Amazing that you were there for her trial too. Doing
Oh,
exorcisms in Washington, D.C. Holy.
you know, they talk about a target-rich environment.
I guess so, eh?
It's
Yeah.
hard to find someone that isn't possessed in that near when you're near the Capitol.
Holy
Wow,
jumping.
those people are amazing.
For
How
sure.
crooked they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even someone like MTG has to leave because she's been taking money under the table, apparently.
It's wild, eh? It's wild. What would JFK say? Yeah.
Yeah, he was an honest man, so they had to get rid of him.
Yep.
And no, it's funny how bad things have gotten.
Mhm.
But we're looking at some interesting things going on. Speaking of bad, there's this U.S. senator who's a retired Navy captain and astronaut who encouraged soldiers to disobey orders from the commander in chief. And as a retired Army officer, senior officer, like,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on here? This guy's head's really up his fourth point of contact, and everybody airborne knows what that means because you get briefed on what you can do and what you can't do. And there's conduct unbecoming an officer and a gentleman. There's conduct contrary to good order and discipline. There's sedition. I mean, all these things can come into play when you encourage someone to disobey a lawful order. If it's an unlawful order, you shouldn't have to encourage anybody. Everybody took the oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And it appears to me that we have a bunch of domestic enemies. What's your view on that, Brad?
Well, I'll go to the Geneva Convention for one. So, you know, being a ground pounding, you know, private in the little Canadian infantry and on a workup training where we thought we were going to go get deployed over to, yep, back at you, Major, get deployed overseas to the Baltic states. Then, you know, they take people through the Geneva Convention training, right? So what to do, who you can fire on. And our rules of engagement in the Canadian Armed Forces and our infantry unit under 1 RCR, 1 Royal Canadian Regiment at that time, and I don't know what it is now, 30 years ago, was if a bullet's fired in your direction, you turn around and you empty what you guys had as a squad automatic weapon. I was typically carrying that, the C6. You empty a half a belt of that into the vicinity where that shot came from, and everybody in what you guys call a squad or a platoon in the SEALs as well, and Marines, we would turn around and we would empty an entire magazine on auto. So that was literally the very first FAFO. So here I am, 18, trained as a killer, right? Because everybody likes to think, and go in the infantry, I mean, you're trained to kill. This is literally what it is, right? Fixed bayonets on RC7s and everything. But in addition to that, what you have for the Geneva Convention, and this is for the civilians who are just kind of like, oh yeah, a senator can just throw it out there and tell people to tell the military to disobey a direct order from the commander-in-chief. Well, you know, for example, you guys have an oath, we had an oath, and at the same point in time, it's all about right and wrong. So in the Geneva Convention, if you're taking prisoners, right? So let's just say the bad guys throw up the white flag like we saw in Desert One that you were in, Jim. And immediately the surrender, that's it, full stop. You've got a ceasefire, you've got to take them prisoner, and then you go through your POW protocols. You can't sit there, take them prisoner, handcuff them, put them on their knees, and execute them. Otherwise, you're the one who's eventually going to be executed through a court-martial as a soldier, right? So not only is that, we're not even at disobey lawful order there yet, but you bring back to that common sense. So in addition to it, we can't be going out there and killing women and children and non-combatants under the law of war manual, as you well know, because you mentioned you served as a JAG during your 20 years of service, Jim. So as a result of that, that every military airman, woman, sailor, seaman, as well as Marine Corps soldier, right? And I'll make sure Space Force are guardians. Now we have guardians, trying to cover the gamut here, everybody, and coasties, right? That you have to follow your orders unless it violates the law of war manual and doing right. So you can't just aimlessly go ahead and kill civilians. But if you're being ordered to do that, that's when you can disobey it. You can go, well, that is an unlawful order, regardless of you giving me an order. If you're telling me to murder innocent civilians, it's different than killing, as Bishop Jim has described many times. We know in the Bible, in scripture, right? Thou shalt not murder. It's not thou shalt not kill. Kill is necessary at periods of times like this. So as a soldier, you're trained to kill, but not murder. Murder is completely different. And so for somebody to say that, and somebody to be held up on the demon rat party in Arizona, no less, which of course, you know, we know there's lots of snakes and cartel taking over those people in Arizona. Man, you know, that I think would classify as sedition. I'd throw it back at you. I haven't been on JAG. You know, if a senator, especially a former veteran, and has supposedly sworn an oath to protect the United States of America as a sworn-in senator for the state of Arizona, is telling people to do that, that might be sedition in itself right there too, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. The sedition, I think all those senators are guilty of sedition. And what makes it worse for Senator Kelly is he's a retired Navy captain, of retired 06. And as a retired senior officer, one senior officer to another, we get outbriefed very heavily when we retire on what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. And the soldiers all get taught, as you know, from being a soldier, that if you're not sure if an order is lawful or not, you have the right to ask for a JAG officer's opinion. And a military lawyer can come in and let you know if it's a lawful order or not. And basically every commander respects that, because commanders really love their troops and they don't want their troops doing anything wrong. And you mentioned surrender. Surrender is a very tricky operation because you never know if they fully intend to surrender or if it's just a gag to get you close and kill some of you.
Right.
So, you know,
which we've seen now.
Yeah, we have seen that in many different wars. And it's very important for, you know, our troops have every right to life too. They have right to life, liberty, levity, and the pursuit of happiness. I think we should have levity in there because life is a lot more fun if we can smile some.
Yep.
And so surrender is a pretty complex operation because you have to continually maintain your safety, and you never know if one of the enemy is just going to go berserk.
Oh yeah.
Roll a grenade, um, engage with his machine gun. There's all sorts of things they can do. Take
Yeah.
out a knife and cut out your heart. So it can be a hairy operation, and I'm glad civilians don't fully understand that because they don't need to know everything. They just need to know that there are good men and women serving that are trying to do what's right, and the strong are trying to protect the weak and the old and the disabled.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't tie their hands from doing that. And the people that we're rounding up, that ICE is rounding up, um, are importing things like fentanyl, heroin, trying to destroy lives, uh, stealing kids, raping kids, trafficking kids. And you have to ask yourself why the press doesn't report this honestly so that there's good public support around this effort. And when you hear of someone in a high office uh, fighting against that, you got to wonder how compromised he is and what they're blackmailing him with. That's what I think. What do you think?
I'm right with you. Absolutely right with you. You know, I mean, the human moral decency is out the window if you can't see that.
No, it's totally out the window. And I see you have the bling Buddha, and that's
Mhm.
pretty cool with the 9 mil and the Punisher's
Yeah.
tattoo.
Mhm.
And explain the genius behind that, please, because I think there are
Sure.
a lot of people who want to know.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And before we get that, the segue to it, which is part of that explanation as well. And the word sovereign, you have the heart for an O, and then you have, I'm gonna phone call. Sorry, thought I had this on do not disturb. Apologies. Now I do. So I have the O is the heart, and then the I is Archangel Michael's sword. And so with Archangel Michael's sword, it's also a T, it's the cross,
Yeah.
Christ. And then we have the tree of life and soul. And the reason that I had problems with the Roman Catholic Church growing up. And I think a lot of people, based on how the Roman Catholic Church, or maybe it's the Protestants or whatever, it caused them to turn away because it wasn't being in Roman Catholic school board as well, and all the way through confirmation and whatnot. I had some real challenges with some of that stuff. However, I just knew in my heart intuitively, as we would call it now. Back then I wasn't using the word intuitively, that there's a higher power and there's creator and fully loves us. Just knew all that. But all the other stuff, I said this actually when I was 18. And again, I'm getting to the Buddha. I didn't think it would take this long to get there. So I apologize for going off this tangent.
Oh no,
But I
you're
was
good.
18 years old. Yeah, right before I went to the training, and people were talking about if I was going to go to like a Catholic university or something like that, because I wanted to go to RMC or drama university, or excuse me, film university. And I said, you know what? Every religion is the same. At a retail level, they are different, but at a wholesale level, they're all the same. And that just flew out of my mouth back when I was late 17 or early 18. And that stuck with me because when I was in my Reiki, when I had that experience almost a quarter of a century ago, I knew there's so much more to life beyond the UFOs experience I had as a young kid. And I've talked about that many times, and you have as well, and you and Lynn, your shows. But I was really just drawn, I identified with is the philosophy of Zen Buddhism. I didn't become Buddhist. And I've been still meditated this morning, did TM since 2011. So my combination right now is wake up in the morning, do my 20-minute meditation, go through my prayers, law of encroachment every morning, every night. That's that's been my lockstep routine before rolling out of bed or right before falling asleep. That's what I do. That Zen Buddhism, I was always drawn to Buddha because there was something about Buddha, the representation of a man attempting to achieve enlightenment, which the Son of God in Christ, Yahshua, is one, and there's only has been one, and that's it. And there's no comparison here, right? Buddha is not the Son of God, but yet that representation to let me walk and devote my life to attempting to achieve enlightenment, and then kind of do so with some levity and then mix it up a little bit. I thought that twist was great. And I always wanted a mascot. I like these cool mascots, you know, Rocky and Bullwinkle from back in the day, growing up in Buffalo, right? You know, and hey, there's another Mountie uniform on a moose. You know, just have a little bit of fun with it, putting a little spin and a twist, you know, spirituality, enlightenment, and divined by Christ and God, right here in the title of the show. You know, so it begins there, it is there, and he's our little mascot of what I believe everybody is looking to attain, but also can embody, right? The flower of life and the dove of peace. You know, he's got his pills of awakening that he's firing, and of course, gold and silver and an XRP token hanging from his neck, and being as faithful, true, and with a lot of laughter, rocking up the style. So he reminds me when I look at him, that's my visual reference every time I see it, Jim, of like, fuck, I gotta be a lot less serious, you know, like I've just gotta, even when things are like going right, there's times that it's just a visual reminder for me to laugh, and I hope it does it for other people too.
It does for me. I'll tell you what, it's a great symbol, and I prefer a Colt 45 to a 9mm, but a 9mm is okay.
Yeah. Well, also the lingo. I'm a lingo guy. Just like throws out, you know, firing the pills of awakening through his 9mm. Yeah. Pills
Well,
and milk.
the 9mm works better than the 45
We can find a Colt. Yeah, we'll maybe rework it for a Colt 45. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to fire 5,000 rounds of it in 1 week.
That's awesome.
Oh man, I had a blast.
I'm envious. Yeah. I'm envious. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you know, after a while you get where you can't mess with it, which is really pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then the 9mm I have feels a lot like the 45, so it's
there you go.
Smith and Wesson makes nice M&P stuff, military and police stuff. It's really good stuff.
It's good insurance company. My dad, I remember one of his truckers at the lumber yard. He had just gotten back from running a load to Detroit, came back to the yard, and my dad said, you know, and I was a young kid, and he goes, whatever the guy's name was, let's just call him Jake for a moment. And he said, you know, Brad, they tried to pull him over in Detroit and hijack. It was called hijack at that time. It wasn't a carjack, an 18-wheeler full of lumber rolling through Detroit. And he said, but his insurance company wouldn't allow him. And, you know, guys up in the cab, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what is carjack? Or, you know, what does hijack mean? And they told me. And he pulls out a Smith & Wesson 45. And he said, I got on the radio and I said, my insurance company won't allow you. And they said, pull over and do it. And he showed them the gun. He said, this is my insurance company. And they didn't mess with him in Detroit after that. So good old Smith & Wesson.
Yeah.
Kicking it.
Their AR-15 with the laser sight that they sell.
Yeah.
You can't miss with it unless you're a total spaz. It's such
Iron
a beautiful weapon.
Yeah, iron sights on that one. Yeah, I got whatever you call it, expert or marksman. You know, I got the
expert.
The regular infantry sniper qualification. You know, because I wouldn't consider myself a sniper. You have to go to sniper school for that, but that's the level I got. So.
Yeah, I shot well enough to go to sniper school, but I don't think it's a good thing for commissioned officers to be snipers.
Right?
You did the Army at that time.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. And people don't understand one thing is about weapons is in the old West days, there were a lot of ladies getting raped, and it would be their word against his word.
Yeah.
And it all of a sudden stopped when Colt and Smith and Wesson made those little snub-nosed revolvers that fit in purses.
Yep.
The equalizer. So there are a lot of people that want to take our weapons away, but you know, a weapon is an equalizer, and it does keep some people honest. And it's not and the people that are complaining the most usually have bodyguards, and they're not trying to take the weapons away from their bodyguards. So I think people should call them on that.
Yeah. And I like what Trump's doing right now. You know, he already floated the idea the last few days. Said, well, what we just need to do, since the Second Amendment is guaranteed by the Constitution at a federal level, it's all of these states who have these restrictions on firearms and concealed carry and open carry, those should all go away.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, they're illegal laws. They're violating our constitutional rights. And as Americans, and I believe Canada is really part of America, we have the right to do this. And, you know, our government would be a lot less hostile to the citizens if all the citizens were armed. All the criminals are armed, and they're not going after them.
Yeah.
And the hypocrisy is off the charts, as you know. And I used to be a Roman Catholic myself, and I love the faith, but I hate the church.
There you go. Nice.
And the church, to me, is a money-making, child trafficking, drug-running operation. And a lot of the big churches are. And you can't buy your way to heaven. And when I hear things about the ninth circle child sacrifices in some of these places, it makes me sick. And then they're going to be the moral leaders. Where are they leading us to? If they're working for Satan, they're not trying to lead us to heaven.
100%. Yeah. You know, it was only a month ago, a little over a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I was with Pastor Archer at his church in Calgary.
Pastor great.
And a couple of others. And so attended service with him on that Wednesday night. I was there for a few hours. And then the next night I was out to dinner. I took him and his wife out to dinner before I got on a plane. And they actually were kind enough to pick me up and drop me off at the airport too. And that's a continued message he has, you know, just looking across the nations, both America and Canada, corporation nations. You know, there are very few who ever stood and didn't take the money, and they actually railed back against the mandates, right? The lockdowns, the masking, the vaccine genocide, the bioweapons which are still being unleashed today. That's been abated, but it hasn't stopped. And he says the same thing. And we continue to see that everywhere we go. And that amazing video you sent me, I figured it would take me a few days to watch it. I binged it right through that 2 hours with all the churches built over these sacrificial, what it appears to be tombs.
Yeah.
70,000 people everywhere.
It gives a new meaning to dead center of the city.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Paris, Lima, Peru. Where were some of the other ones that you?
New York's St. Patrick's Cathedral. There's the Vatican in Rome. There's a bunch of skulls under every one of these churches.
Crypts in the
Westminster Abbey. It's disgusting. The big cathedral in Cologne.
Yep.
And you know they stack some of these so they look like they're part of the walls underneath the church, the basements.
Yeah, it creeped me out. In Barcelona in 2000, they had those churches built out of human bones and skulls.
Yeah.
And they're calling it art. It creeped me right out. I couldn't stand it. I didn't go into those ones.
No, I now know why I always felt uncomfortable in churches like that.
Yeah.
I could feel dead. You know, we're supposed to get close to Jesus and live in a very spiritual way, which is what Buddha was all about, with being spiritual beings and having that personal relationship with with the Almighty, the Creator, Jesus. That's who I call him. And it's not a kneel down, sit down, stand up, pray, 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 throw money in the collection box, get the priest salute, and go home and sin no more. I mean, it seems to be more about money, and there are so many evils in this world, but you never hear them from the pulpit. And to me, the most disturbing one is abortion and what they do to those poor babies' bodies. And you never hear any of that truth from a pulpit.
Right.
And at 65, Lyndon Baines Johnson wrote an executive order. It's not even a law, it's an executive order that if you mix politics, you speak about political issues in a religious ceremony, you could lose your tax deduction. Well, obviously there's no freedom of religion and there's no freedom of speech. Because if there was freedom of religion and freedom of speech, you could say anything you wanted. And that same group promoted this guy named Aquino, Michael Aquino, to a brigadier general.
Yep.
Who started the Satanic Church of Set. And he was a military officer who made brigadier general. And he was sacrificing kids and doing terrible things to kids. But that was his religion. He was okay to do those things. But a priest or a rabbi or a minister can't say, when you should know what happens to these poor babies' bodies after they sell them.
Right.
But if he says something like that, his church goes out of business. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous to me. And the fact that all the churches don't stand up united against this kind of tyranny tells me that most of the people that are preaching are eunuchs, if you know what I mean.
I know firsthand a story about him, that they tried to get him out of the military and they kept him in. And that could be, I'm not sure if the person who told me that part's allowed, he wants it said out who it is right now, but
I understand. I think that's best to not betray a trust, but I look at some of the good guys I know that did really good things that couldn't get promoted because, for example, your group 78 of a lot of the special forces guys all got QMP'd out because Clinton didn't want special forces guys in. He left Delta Force alone, but a lot of guys in your group 78 who were really good officers got retired early because they weren't allowed to make lieutenant colonel because the politicians played some funny games.
Yep.
And they cut the force. Now, in this kind of warfare, we need more special operators, not less.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Are you okay if I just close the curtain here for a moment? I didn't think the sun would be
it's all good.
All right, hang on one second. Perfect example of the light shining down upon us during this broadcast.
Amen to that, brother.
Now I can see it, a little better. Perfect.
Now, speaking of special operators, we know of a product called LifeWave. The X39 patch was made for special operators to recover faster. And you're one of the big distributors of that, Brad. Can you tell us about the X39 and 49 and the LifeWave patches, please?
Well, sure. Yeah. First, tell me what your experience has been like wearing these little stickers.
Well, I can tell you that I wear them. I wear them every day.
Yeah.
They're almost impossible to get off.
So I was recording a couple hairs that sticker,
But they look just like this. They work really well.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, my chiropractor told me that he thought I was reverse aging noticeably.
Wow. Really? That's cool.
My hair is
Dark
no
hair
longer
coming in.
white.
Yeah, you have black hair coming.
Yeah.
Holy jumping. Excellent.
And I'm still benching 320, and I got strong with the Life Wave and
Yeah.
a little help from Root.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and I really love the genius behind these products.
Yeah.
And you got me started on it.
Yeah.
And you know, for the first 4 months, I didn't notice anything.
Right. Yeah. You were not the one patch wonder. I was there. You're one of those few people, you, Lisa Schermerhorn, took a few months, like just trust, just trust, just trust. And you had an incredible experience about that.
Yeah, well, what I found out is it was working on something I wasn't realizing, and I just went over 5 years, so I'm now officially cancer free. And my PSA dropped from in just a few months from 2.6, which was a darn good score from 32 when I was getting radiated, down
Yeah.
to 0.6. But then the
Yeah.
last time it was zero point 0.2,
Right.
which is tremendous. I'm 72 and a half, almost 73.
Thanks.
And I feel like a young man. So
Yeah.
that's my testimony of these products. You had some pretty severe injuries.
Yeah, yeah, definitely chronic ones. And since you so thanks for sharing that. And yeah, that's incredible because the funny thing is sometimes we're just doing so many shows or doing stuff so much of life and catching up that I haven't seen your hair turn back to black at nearly 73 years old. And you hear chiropractors say you reverse aging. That's what this is also patented for. It's patented to reverse aging. And I know that you like the coolness of the inventor David Schmidt because he still
Yeah.
goes to Bible study. His nickname in college was Spock. He's a total Trekkie, and now he hasn't surpassed Tesla or Edison or a few of the others, but he's now living. He is America's most prolific living inventor right now. He has over 200 patents issued, pending, and for people who are in the military watching this, and veterans or first responders, Leos, it was started as a Black Ops project, Navy SEALs, nearly 21 years ago. And Obama killed the project because it did so well, and it's all natural. But the way I look at these, and just put it down, is I look at this as the satellite dish. So number one, X39 with Cellergize, which I know Bishop Jim represents, and the link's here somewhere. You can get in touch with him or go grab it. When you're using this in the Cellergize in your water, it activates all your stem cells and a 30-year genome for
Yeah. And
Starbucks a day. Like you spend more on a Starbucks coffee than this sticker that has never went up in price for 6 years that X39's been around, but for almost 20 years that the product's been commercially available. Amazing.
and we know people who love Starbucks. And I saw this really interesting demonstration where this guy bought Starbucks.
Yeah.
And he bought the small.
Oh yeah. I've seen
And
this.
he had a medium cup and he poured it in, it was full. And then he took a grande, poured it in, and it was full. Cups were different in height, but also different in width. So the volume was the same.
Yeah.
And that's, there are people who believe in the integrity of that company.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot about them. And when
Sure.
you look at David Schmidt basically making wearable med beds, that, I have full range in this arm, which I never had for 3 decades. And you had some really horrific injuries from your motorcycle accident. And you're hang gliding and skiing and doing all sorts of really fun things that anybody else who was injured like you were and didn't have this stuff, they still would have trouble walking. And you're busting it. It's the patches and it's the relationship with the Almighty. And when we have that good relationship with God, we have it, ours are slightly different, and that's okay. We're different people.
Yeah.
It's all about relationship. That's what the churches don't teach. It's relationship with Jesus. It's relationship with our Creator. It's not about how much money we give the pastor. It's not about how many times we say somebody else's prayer they memorized. It's what comes out of our heart. And if you have a good heart and you have something like this X39 patch, you can't help but get better. You can't help but regenerate. You can't help but feel better, clearer. And if you have something wrong, you might not even know it like I did, or you may know it like my buddy Tom did, who is the same age as I am, and he's doing 2 hours of hardcore judo 3 nights a week. And he's in his next birthday, he'll be 73, just like me. We're buddies from freshman year of high school. Well, that's a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah. Yeah. How many 73-year-olds are benching 320 and doing judo and have a PSA test that was 32, cancer-free now, 5 years, and rocking it? And
Well, I'm not doing judo. I'm still working on the boxing though.
yeah, oh yeah, the boxing, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, for your friend Tom in Buffalo, rocking
Yeah, he's the judo guy.
martial arts. And Dr. Pam Lewin in our group, she's an MD of 40 years, and she literally says, hey, listen, your stem cells, that's what built you, and they will heal you. And it's funny because when I'm going to the airport tomorrow and I drive by a sign and it says stem cell regenerative therapy, and it's a clinic, and people will spend 12 to 13, $15,000 for up to 3 different treatments at a time. So think of that, 12 to 15 grand per treatment. And that doesn't include where they have to fly in from, do hotel and lodging. And this stuff activates your own life within you. And it activates your own stem cells, 1/3 of your genome instantly to get to healing when you have that with the Cellergize. And the other thing too is what our doctors have told us and the clinical studies have shown it 100% works on everybody. And like you had a 4-month, Lisa had about 6 weeks. And it was only in Christmaka 2 years ago with Lisa that her kids came over and went, Mom, you look younger. And she didn't notice it, right? She didn't notice it. And then she noticed that a week or two later, she was sleeping better, that her pain in her knees were gone. All these things are taken away because the stem cells are regenerating, healing you, and reversing aging. And the very first thing they'll do is go to the heart, the brain, and the lungs. And they'll heal all that. And what it did for me with my chronic pain in my shoulder that hadn't gone away for a decade nearly since being run over on the motorcycle. That frozen shoulder is no more, completely gone and healed as a result of the patches. And it's the power of the patch. Incredible. Yeah. And that, like, you throw away that sticker, put it on when you brush your teeth in the morning, you throw it away at night, and that's where the society wants. They just want instant gratification. All right, put it on, throw it off, throw it away, disposable each day. Open another one in your month supply, your envelope, do it again the next day, and it's working for you. That's it.
Yeah, it's very easy. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Wax on, wax off. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. And so to everybody, like commercial moment, buy through Bishop Jim O'Connor's like that's down here because you're actually supporting this man. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Brad. That's nice. I had a lot of fun when I met Lisa in person.
Yeah.
And I know how old she is. I wouldn't tell anybody because I'm a gentleman. But if I were to guess how old she was, I'd be off by close to 20 years. She looks that good.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's so bright and so fast. A lot of times you meet older people and they slow down between the years. She's lightning fast. And I have friends that are resisting the patch and they're getting sicker and sicker, and it's horrible to see. And I have some that have embraced the patch And it's amazing how much different their life is. And once people start to feel the benefits of the patch, it's a brand new ball game. And someone might say, well, what does that have to do with me religiously? Well, spiritually, you can pray a lot better and have a much better relationship with God when you're not sick because you're clearer. Yeah, sometimes when you're sick, you'll pray more because you need help. But you can also pray more because you're grateful that you got help and you can help others more. That's the difference. And that's the approach I try to take. I'm not going to ever get rich doing this. I'm more of a user than a distributor. I mean, I'll help people, but I love helping people. And that's one of the things I've noticed about everybody I've met in LifeWave is first thing is they love helping people. And two, they really like feeling better than they did beforehand.
Right.
And to me, it's a no-brainer. But, you know, how can that little patch do all that? And the doctors say, well, we don't know anything about this. The FDA hasn't approved it to cure anything. Well,
but it's an FDA approved medical device, and that's what it is. And same thing with people with a phone, right? Like,
yeah, well, exactly.
How does the phone work? You don't need to know how the phone works to flick it on and make a phone call, but people are still using the phone. Same thing. I slap it on.
Well, one thing I've learned from exorcisms, and it's really weird talking about exorcisms, when you get the demons talking, commanded to tell the truth in Jesus' name, I found out that they love pharmakia. And pharmakia just isn't illegal drugs like a lot of preachers will tell you. It's also the FDA approved drugs. And they love the fact that every FDA drug, this is what they say when they have to tell the truth, has a side effect that makes someone sicker. And if you take enough medicine, and we all know people that are in their early 80s that are taking 20 different medicines and they're always sick and they always feel like crap.
Yep.
That's because of the side effects of the medicines. There's no way in the world that they've tested every drug interaction in a clinical trial before they put all this stuff out. There's not enough money to do those studies. And Moses was 80 years old when he started the 40-year walk in the desert. So that's how our bodies are supposed to be. And I thank you, Brad, for getting me onto this patch because I'm going to have a much happier and longer and healthier life because of it.
You got it. And you're welcome, Jim. And thanks for your faith and trust in that too. And, RFK Jr. wears it. We know that the Maha cabinet wears it. And we know and are not allowed to say other people that are in a house that is absent of a color and resembles more of this color that I'm pointing to behind me or this on my hat. And its name is that color house. Wear it. And there you go. So it's Maha approved. And RFK Jr. Had invited David Schmidt, the inventor, onto the board of Make America Healthy Again with the others that people know, Dr. Jack Cruz, Nicole Shanahan, and etc., because of what it does and because of what it stands for. And because this is that Star Trek technology, and you mentioned that wearable med technology, that's here for us today. Incredible.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. And then there's the root brands where Clean Slate gets rid of some of the side effects of some of the stuff they've done to us with the old jabber.
Yeah,
I never took the jabber because I saw what the jabber did to my late wife. It killed her. She was dead 6 days later. Total brain bleed out. The doctors had never seen anything like that before. It destroyed her blood-brain barrier. She was pretty sick to begin with, and that was a kill shot, in my opinion. And but there are people that are realizing that they are getting sick from these things, and Clean Slate gets rid of it. along with Zero In and I'm trying to remember the name of the liquid.
The zero and the restore.
Restore. You know, I just
Yeah.
take this stuff every day. Senior moment, sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. It's the end of the day, and Thanksgiving holidays and all of that. And you're
Yeah,
also part of the clinical case study with them, with Root.
yeah, it was, and
With
it was amazing how much I have one of those Select Comfort 360 smart beds, which if you can afford them, that's the best way to sleep. It keeps track of your pulse at night, your breath rate, and your heart rate variability, which is very important. And I have my typical heart rate fluctuates between 52 to about 58 a night, which is 52 is extremely athletic. My breath rate is constant 12 breaths a minute, which is kind of, well, I take deep, good breaths. And my sleep score, my heart variability rate is usually in about the 140s, and 90 is like average, and 140 is like the beginning for an elite athlete.
Yeah, that's
So,
incredible. Incredible.
so it's one of those things that these things, both these products really help that. And I was so grateful for Dr. Ram and Clayton from Roots that helped me do this clinical trial, and it was a lot of fun. And I noticed how much healthier and stronger I got. And then when I added the X39 and really got my stem cells going, I know I can't say that, but that's what I think. And the muscle building from the X49 patch, I've been feeling like $1 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the old days when $1 million
Clinical data shows
was
it.
$1 million.
Yeah, yeah. Are we talking about 10 years ago, $1 million, or 20
Uh,
years ago?
like the 30 years ago, $1 million.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah. So we probably need like 18 million right now to equate to that with the
Yeah.
inflation. Yeah.
Well, I got to say this though. I really enjoyed your one Send It Sunday where you were talking about the future value of gold and silver. And
Yeah,
I
thank
think,
you.
and I, and as an MBA and at one time I was a broker, I really thought
No,
that show was so right on. It isn't funny, and your ability to predict what recently happened is just uncanny. And I really have faith in your predictions. So I encourage people that are interested in what this may do is to check it out because silver is in very short supply and it's extremely cheap compared to what I believe it's going to be. And your Buddha buys gold and silver has got to be a really good place to look at if you have money to invest.
yeah. Cool. Thanks, Jim. And for me, it was just simple math. It just came down
Yeah.
to math, and again, math with the probabilities. That that was it. You look at all the data, and then you're just asking for it, the probabilities were the way it worked out.
Yeah, well, we both have a thing in common, our love for economics.
Yeah, yeah. Wild, eh? Wild.
Yeah. Um, uh, After I got my MBA, I taught economics in colleges as an adjunct professor. And it was a lot of fun.
That's wild.
It can be a very interesting class. Most people call it Z-Con because it knocks them right out.
That 100%. Yeah, yeah. Supply and
Uh,
demand and the price and elasticity of the product will have an inverse relationship with, oh my gosh, people start joining.
uh,
Yeah,
but people don't understand they do the price elasticity every day.
100%. Yeah,
When you buy let's say you buy a Big Mac for example, and they tell you the second one's 50% off. Is it really worth to spend the second one?
exactly.
Well, that's your example of price elasticity. And and how many people know the rule of 72? But you,
72, rule. Yeah.
yeah, compound interest and the rule of 78 for what you have to pay on the credit card.
There you go. Yeah, that's
And
right. Percent annualized interest on those cards.
yeah.
Yeah. Not usury at all.
No, it's worse. It's highway robbery.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, bookies were salivating. Yeah.
Oh, bookies. That reminds me of the betting, the five way parlay, for like football, where you bet five things and you get 25 to 1 on your return.
Oh yeah.
2 to the fifth power is 32, so they're making 25% on you.
Right
And
off
you
the
think
bat.
you're getting a good deal.
Yeah.
That's the problem. People don't know their math. It's a great language.
Yeah. 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 100%. 100%. What do you think is going to be coming up here over the next, well, based on the biblical decodes, in the next 2 months leading into January?
Well, I think that I saw this video about the heavenly markings that are going to go on people's foreheads
Wow.
that they won't necessarily see.
Okay.
And that some people will be given the gold mark, which will be the good mark, and some people will be given the red mark, which is the bad mark. And it's not so much how your church attendance is, it's how much your personal relationship with Jesus is.
Yeah.
And I think that there's if I believe that's true, and if it is true, the seal of the living God, which is in the last book, um, it tells me things are going to get a little rocky, especially with the deep state trying to overthrow the legitimate government. Even though they don't say that, they're trying to do that.
Yep.
Um, and and I think it's really going to be important to have that good personal relationship with the Almighty. And the best way to relate to the Almighty is Jesus, who was true God and true man.
Yep.
And none of the religions have it right.
No, not.
They all have
Those
part of it
John
right.
Burke were incredible. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I stepped on you. But I think it's really important for people to get on their knees, or if they can't kneel down, sit down and just have a nice long talk with the Lord and get close to Him. It'll only make your life better. And no matter what happens, having a good relationship with the Lord is always a plus, because there's no better friend, there's no better brother, there's no better lover than Jesus.
Yep.
And you can choose the quality of the relationship, like St. Augustine talks about in his Confessions.
Nice.
And
When you're, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Follow. When you're talking about the mark and the seal on people's foreheads and the chosen, is there an archangel that will be delivering that?
I believe it'll be delivered under the direction of the archangels, and the angels will be helping them.
Yeah, very cool.
And it'll be interesting to find out the truth about groups like the Palladians and the Octurians and and the gray reptilians and all that. Are they what we call angels and demons, or are they a real separate race? And I want to know. I'm curious. But the one thing I would say, if anybody tells you go there, that's where the Christ is, nobody has to introduce Christ to you. We all know who He is. Anybody who says that you have to go over there to see Him, they're lying to you. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, well, I find it fascinating. Your Archangel Uriel has appeared to me twice. But hers is all through scent, like of flowers, the most extraordinary bouquet of flowers. So twice she's appeared to me. Once in Saint Helene de Lac, Quebec, and the other place was, I believe, it was Fernie when I was living there in Fernie, British Columbia. And then, we have friends of ours that we know, whether it's, you know, Colonel Sellers and the conversations he's had with God and the amazing things that come to him, and Mrs. Sellers, Michelle, and Michael Jacob with his Archangel Michael experience. Even Alpha Warriors had one. And I just can't believe at this point in time, if there's anybody out there thinking, well, spiritual war, yeah, okay, I get that. But I mean, come on, Luciferase alone, right? The demonic entities, the ritualistic sacrifices, the summoning of it. We're talking to an exorcist right here who is written down in the very first and only published and historically referenced ghost by the United States government when you were a plebe at WestPoint Military Academy, and punched a ghost, an apparition, the demon Cobalt, right? So people haven't got God now. I mean, my goodness, you might want to really check yourself at this point in time, right?
And my fiance and our good friend Nicole is quite a spiritual warrior, and she also sees the angels and gets attacked a lot, but she has come up with some amazing prayers that really deflect the evil spirits, like Psalm 109, and people can look up Psalm 109. It's David saying he's had enough of people stabbing him in the back, and and cursing him and stuff like that. And the curses are pretty bad, but the God that's in us is so much greater. And if we have that kind of faith, the faith that, the tree will uproot itself and the mountain will move, and God will shine his light on us. And that's the best part of life right there.
Indeed, Jim. Yeah, I've spoken like a true 5-star general in God's army on earth that you are. You are the General Eisenhower for God's army on earth right here. Yeah.
No, I'm humbled by that, Brad. I'm trying to live up to it.
Very welcome.
I don't know if I'm glad some of my friends see it that way. I see myself as a work in progress. But
well, I spoke with your director this morning. He and I had a personal phone call, catch-up call on some other stuff too. So it's pretty amazing. Have you shared that with your audience yet about what's going on?
No, I haven't. But I did look at. I know that they're making amazing progress, and I'm told the executive producer that I'll keep my mouth shut about it until it's gone a little further.
Gotcha.
But she's going to do a series called The Wisdom Years, and it's going to be quite a show, and there'll be a lot of interesting people other than me on it, and I think I know who our narrator is going to be, and everybody will recognize his or her voice as one of the great narrators. I got to keep it vague because of promises. Well, anyway, my friend, it looks like our time is up here. And Brad, I'd like to thank you again for being such a fabulous guest and such a wonderful best friend. God bless you, my brother. And I'll stop the recording now.